One of the people that is upset by all this is anyone on the left, especially in Hollywood. And when you talk about somebody who's way to the left, it is Rob Reiner, a very successful director, not a successful actor. His dad was very funny, but one thing is pretty clear. He doesn't think Roseanne is funny. He thinks it's propaganda.
Well, he's really heartbroken that 25 million Americans would have watched the first episode of Roseanne last week. Apparently this week, up to 15 million watched just that number as well. And he says that the people who are watching this show, essentially
Trump supporters,
but they are not just Trump supporters. They're the lunatic fringe.
You have the star of the show essentially outside the show trumpeting all of the things that Donald Trump stands for. So it's not like you can separate in television. I mean, there's room for a red state, blue state show. Certainly those arguments are going on around dinner tables all over the country. But when you take the main character and that person is a personification of Trump's point of view, then that puts that idea forward.
I watched this week's episode. Didn't mention Donald Trump. Didn't really mention politics. It was all about parental responsibility. And one of the kids was running wild, and Roseanne cracked down on her because the mother would not. By the end of the show, the kid was acting right.
Right. It's not a documentary, by the way. Also, Will and Grace. Well, how was that balanced? Will and Grace both hate Trump in every line.
Great point. He goes on to say, he calls Fox News and Roseanne's show, he says now they are becoming the mainstream media. One sitcom and one network.
It's amazing. Meanwhile, Marcia wrote us, and you want proof? Here's what she said. The forgotten Americans whom Roseanne portrays are not just blue-collar workers. We're also upper-middle-class college graduates. We have had enough of the PC police limiting our speech and our actions. We fought back in 2016. The movement will continue.
Dennis emailed, I find irony in Rob Reiner's comments, considering he was once involved in a controversial show back in the 1970s that had opposing opinions on the topics of the era. Good one, Dennis.
All right. And then Barb says, finally a show that represents Americans, all of us. Those saying she is Trump's mouthpiece just don't get it. She speaks for the silent, everyday people, the ones that elected Trump.
Do you believe how much we're talking about one sitcom?
No.
It's amazing. Every single show, we're talking about one sitcom.
I know, but you look at the cultural zeitgeist, so much of it is stacked against the president. There is no other side. You watch the late night comedy, none of that. She is a pioneer. And the interesting thing is the first episode wasn't all pro-Trump. It was back and forth between the two sides. So you get, just like All in the Family back in the 70s, you got both sides of an idea.
And if a president wins and you don't like him, but he wins, and then if the show is doing so well and 25 million people are watching,
right,
you would think you would start asking yourself, well, wait a minute, let me see why. Why is this trending? Why is this trend happening?
You know what I remember? Happy Days, when Richie went for Adlai Stevenson, and it was Tom Bosley who went for Eisenhower, right, y'all? And it divided the country for a while.
But Adlai Stevenson, Brian, lost.
Right.
Donald Trump actually won.
Right. And what happened at the end? Richie was consoled by his dad, who didn't gloat. He got over it. Hillary, there's a lesson there. You could learn from Happy Days.
I think the lesson is for ABC and other business broadcasters. If that is making a pile of dough, maybe they should do more fair and balanced kind of sitcoms.
Exactly.
Talk about a pile of dough. Talk about a woman that's all about money. Julian, you have the news.
I don't even know what to say to that one.
You like making money.
Sure, I mean, don't we all?
Right. Absolutely. You're in a capitalist society.
All right. Good morning, guys. Let's get you caught up on some of the news we're following, starting with this. YouTube is beefing up security at offices worldwide following the deadly shooting